not want skinny deals. All right? Now, there's something called a skinny deal. That means that a deal just doesn't have enough room in it, meaning that we're buying it at retail and there's not enough huge upside. But then there's something else as well, which are deals with hair on them, and that's a common term is hair. And when something has hair on it, it just means that it's got problems. You're going to hear that. This deal's got a little hair on it. Oh, it's okay. I love deals that are hairy. All right? Send them over. All right? Although we pay people what they're worth, sometimes, again, more for incentives. Rule number 1, everything in life is negotiable. You guys write that down. Okay? We got a lot to cover, and one of the things I want to mention here, food for thought, because I'm going to be going over this thing in detail, guys. I want you guys to get it. That's why I'm stepping off the stage here. Everything in life, guys, everything in life is negotiable for the most part. All right? And what I mean by that is a lot of times when we're going in there, we're getting our due diligence money spent on things like appraisals and things like market research, data, studies, things of that nature. After we've already verified the fact that we are planning on closing on that deal, we're 99.9% sure, we're ready to be 100% sure, we're ready to move on the project. There's negotiation techniques that I'm going to share with you here over the next couple of days, that when we go and we get an appraisal, we're not paying top dollar for appraisals. When we go ahead and bring in an engineer, we don't have to go ahead and put down huge retainers for engineers. Okay? That's conventional people that do those things. We're not conventional investors. Remember, we think outside the box. If you can get in there and you can save additional costs here and costs there, those costs add up. Especially if you got the right deal and then you have the strategies and techniques to save on all the costs for due diligence, it's going to make that deal appear even more juicy for that credit partner or more juicy for the money partner. All right? Now, don't risk deposits without doing complete due diligence is what that transitions into. Get free advice, then paid advice. Write that down. We get free advice, then paid advice, and then put a circle around this part. We verify it all. We verify it all. All right? Get free advice, pay for advice, then verify it all. Don't try to do everything yourself. You need to get help from experts. All right? Now, when I talk about get help from experts, guys, that transitions me into this because I want you to understand again that it's not just about you guys being here to learn the strategies, to learn the techniques, or watching these DVDs or listening to these audios and getting out there and just bird dogging for deals for me. You can if you want to. And it's not just about you partnering with me. You can if you want to. But you're going to have it where you can go out there and you can do it on your own. If you decide to get out there and do it on your own, make sure that you're bringing in the best of the best. And if you want to make a note on that, that's fine. I'm just trying to get it into your head so you understand that it's not just you out there. You need to bring in your dream team to make it happen. And it's very easy to get that done. And I'm going to share somebody here in the audience here with you. Later, I'm going to go ahead and share with you exactly how this person did it. And he's just an average Joe. And what he did was he pulled all the pieces together and made it happen just like you can. Okay? So page 13. We're going to go ahead and go through this. This is 6 steps of a deal. I want to talk about 6 steps of a deal, and we're going to be moving forward here rather quickly. I got some great things to share with you next. Number 1 is to find the deals. That's the first step. We need to make sure that we're out there and we're finding the deals. Now, before we can do that, we need to define exactly what a deal is. So we're going to be getting defining later in the next couple of days to come. We're going to have a very powerful session on finding deals live. Would you guys like that? Yeah. All right, good. So search and have others search for you. That's so very powerful. You need to go out there and start searching. We're going to talk about ways to get out there and search, but it's you searching, or better yet, guys, educate and delegate and have those brokers go out there. It takes one good broker that knows what's happening in the area. They're in the know. And what they're going to do is they're going to get these deals happening. They're going to bring these deals to you on a silver platter. But the thing about it is you got to make sure that they understand your criteria. So they got to make sure that they understand your criteria. All right? Relationships, guys, are worth more than money. You've probably heard me say it over and over. It truly is. You go ahead and show brokers, because brokers work on what? Commission. 3 to 6% on an average. And that's what they work for. Do you know that brokers submit deals to you that they could do, but they don't? Because they have the horse blinders on and they're trained. I'm a broker. That's what I do. I'm a broker. It is true. I'm a broker. And when they're fixated on just being a broker, they're programmed to be a broker, and they got their license to be a broker, and they hold that license close to their chest, and they're proud of that license to make that 3 to 6% commission. All right? Hey, guys, somebody's got to be a broker. Somebody's got to make the 3 to 6% commission. It might as well not be you, okay? Don't let it be you. And if you're a broker here, do we have any brokers that carry a license? We got several. Guys, you just have to disclose some information. There's nothing wrong with being a broker. Just understand you don't have to be programmed to be a broker. Reprogram your mind to think like a millionaire. That's why you're here. You can get out there and do it. And some of you might think, well, oh, great. Now they're going to get all the deals because they're brokers. No, guys. It's totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you have a license or you don't. For the record, I got 2 licenses. I got one in my pocket, which is my driver's license, and the other one is a marriage license. And that's it. I don't have any other licenses. I choose not to. I could have got my broker's license a long time ago, and I choose not to. Doesn't mean it's good or bad to have it or don't have it. And some of my students, just had a student of mine, Marcia, she came into one of my advanced trainings, and she said, Terry, I got my broker's license. I said, that's fabulous. Great. She wanted to get her broker's license, but you don't have to, okay? But brokers make, just write down, brokers make the best bird dogs. They do, guys, hands down. They make the best bird dogs out there. Now, number 2 is to evaluate the deals. That's a system in place. You want to make sure that you have a pre-screening system in place. I've put that together for you, and of course, you have a copy of that system, and we're going to be analyzing that as well. It all comes down to the system to quickly be able to determine a deal from a dud, to be able to separate the trash from the cash, separate the low-hanging fruit from the time wasters, and that's what we're there to do. That's my pre-screening system. It's for evaluating. All right. There is a sample in the back of your material as well. It's also going to be in your quick start, and you can also get it at the back of the room, and we're going to be discussing it here in detail. Number 3 is to negotiate and structure the deal, and that's going over the right terms. We're going to be talking a lot about terms, so that way you guys can go ahead, send out the acquisition criteria, send out the property information sheets, and then also structure some terms for them to look at. And when they get to the point where they're like, well, Terry, what type of terms would you like on this property? Well, Mr. Seller, one of the things, or broker, one of the things we don't like to do is front load our projects with a lot of cash. So I understand that there might be a small deposit that's needed for a little skin in the game. But at the end of the day, this property does have vacancy issues. And the rents haven't been raised in a really long time. And it's basically us taking over a problem property, and we need a little bit of time to get in there to increase the value. So if you understand that and I can buy it right, I'd like to get some terms scheduled like the first year, no payment, no interest, and then carrying the additional 36 months with accrued interest at just prime. Well, what's prime? Who cares? Prime's what? 6%? 7%? It's not 30%. You guys follow? Say yes. It's very, very powerful. Okay, we're going to get into negotiations when we get to that point. I just wanted to wet your whistle. All right, you need the terms to facilitate funding and maximize profits. It all comes to knowing the property. What we're going to be learning here, from day 1 all the way down to the end, the exit strategy, whether we're going to refi and have cash coming in or we're going to sell, whatever our exit strategy is. And then we back up and we create an executive summary. And we create this executive summary all the way from day 1 on how we purchase. And then we take this executive summary that's all bullet points, it's all meat. We hand that to the financier and we say, look, we're going to need financing ahead of time before we even plan on closing this project. Because we want to make sure that we have financing to take us through all the way to the end and borrow more money than we need, because we're planning on borrowing more time than we need. Write that down. All right? Borrow more money than we need, borrow more time than we need. That's the way we do this business. You have to know the terms and when and how to ask, and that's a negotiation. And number 4, which we're going to be talking about, is funding the deals. Okay? You got to be able to request the right money from the right source. So often, guys, we get into financing. I'm going to give you guys a website you can go on and you can see all the different types of money and a resource where you guys can pick through and call financiers and talk about money. And I'm going to talk about packaging and all kinds of great stuff. But understand that sometimes it's more so the way that you're presenting your package to the right person than just shooting it out to the masses. Who here does direct mail? Raise your hand. All right. How many people? Raise your hands, guys. High. We're family here. Raise them high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people out of 100 or so. 6 people, guys. Think about that for a second. 6 people out of 100 or so people. I mean, what I got to say about that is direct mail is very, very powerful. It's a way that we're finding deals. You can write that back up here on the finding deals section on number 1 is direct mail, and I'll cover that. I'm going to cover that for you. But what I want to mention in direct mail for those of you who do it, there's 2 ways to do direct mail. There's the shotgun approach, and then there's the rifle approach. The shotgun approach is basically loading all your mail up and firing it out to the masses, and it shoots out. A rifle approach is recognizing one particular prospect and getting the message out to that one particular prospect. And when you get the message out to that particular prospect, you know that they're the people that you want to do business with because they either advertise that they're the ones that are motivated to sell, or they're ready to go ahead and loan money for these types of projects. So that's what I'm getting to. When it comes to funding, so many people think that the money people out there are all about the BS. They're lip service, right? You guys hear that, lip service, right? It's because you got so many different packages getting spread out to the masses. And what you can do is you can go ahead and recognize one particular lender, recognizing that, sir, maybe mobile home parks, that they only want to loan on mobile home parks that are operating at a certain cap rate or are going to be operating with a certain amount of cash flow, only in a certain area, maybe a medium to high-end area. And once you recognize that, then you can go ahead and get that package to that person, and your chances of getting your funding go up a lot. Okay? So you must go ahead and understand that when we request the right money from the right source, you must know how to package it the right way, and we're going to get into that. Now, number 5 is to do the deals. That's create millions in value. Now, when I say millions, guys, that word millions is just so overrated. It's so overdone, right? I don't want you guys to focus on millions. The money will be there at the end of the day. But I want you guys to focus on taking the steps to financial freedom, real financial freedom. Financial freedom in a way where the majority of the people out there that are on the verge of bankruptcy, it's thousands of dollars that changes their lives. And I understand that. That's why I simplify this business so you can go ahead and take the first step to making thousands of dollars a month and take the next step to make tens of thousands of dollars a month. And the dollars at the end of the day, when we increase the value of property, that's where the millions are at. That's when we are going to go ahead and sell. Now, you can make all that money up front and sell it right when we buy it, or what you can do is capitalize on the income. Everybody here likes cash flow, right? Cash flow is king, guys. All right. Now, the next is going to be exit strategies. All right. Sell or refinance quickly. You must know when to sell. We're going to talk about the timelines when to sell. Okay? There's a formula that'll determine when you should sell. And you're going to know that formula ahead of time before you even close on the property. Think about that for a second. You're going to know when to sell before you buy. All right? Most people don't know that. Most people don't even think about that. All right? Some people say you got to have multiple exit strategies. I agree with that. I like to at least have 3 exit strategies on each and every deal. And I think that knowing when to sell it to capitalize on that money is very, very important. To know when the cycle is going to be going up, when it's going to be at its highest and best potential, on when you can sell the property to maximize the dollars at the end of the day. But regardless, guys, we're not fixated on that number. We're fixated on the monthly cash flow. All right? The monthly cash flow. You can sell, but sometimes you can do something called a refinance. And when you do a refi, you can take out all that additional equity and put it in your pocket. I call that Hip National Bank, right? Now, Hip National Bank is a good place to grow your pocketbook, but eventually it'll get too big and you're going to need to put all your money in the mattress, right? That's a joke, guys. You either need to wake up. I got coffee and tea in the back. I pay for food and beverage here, okay? All right. You must know when to sell and, again, who to use to sell, all right? Now, that is important, very important. All right, we're going to get through page 14 through commercial property. There's all types of commercial property out there. Some of the properties, obviously, I had some people rush up to me when I got here and they said, hey, Terry, you got to check this out. I got this huge warehouse deal. And I said, well, warehouse is something about warehouse. You got to understand, when we're dealing with warehouse, it could be a one user, an owner user, meaning it's only good if you had some type of factory plant and you're planning on moving in there yourself, or if you're planning on bringing somebody else in. So it all comes down to, if you're purchasing it, is that lease about to expire on that major chain that's looking to leave? Because I've seen that all too often. Okay, so you got to watch what type of properties that you're focusing on. Gentleman here has a book on mobile home parks. Some other people in the back were talking to me about self-storage. We're going to talk about self-storage a little bit later. But you got to understand, there's all different types of property. And you know, I teach to be a generalist, not a specialist. Can you just be a specialist in one property type, be a master of your craft, and make a boatload of money? Of course you can. And it's natural. We're all going to gravitate towards some type of property. All right? We all gravitate towards things that make us feel comfortable. Some of us like southwestern homes. Some of us like Mediterranean homes. I have a Mediterranean 5-bedroom, 4-bath. One of the rooms is actually not a bedroom. It's like a little gym thing. But, and that's where I hang my clothes. You know, they build the equipment so it sits up like this. You put your clothes on it. It's true. It's true. About one of those big fancy machines thing cost me about $7,000. And the guy built it with the arms sticking straight up in there. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, we build them like this because when we build them with the arms swayed down, then people return them because their clothes fall off. True story. I thought that was quite impressive. So my home is Mediterranean, and that's what I like, that whole Mediterranean vibe. So what I'm getting to is, some people gravitate towards different colors. Some people gravitate towards different things because that's where their comfort zone is. Some of you will have a comfort zone of a $500,000 profit margin and just making a couple $1,000 a month, because that's going to change your immediate future. Others of you will focus on, you know, $300,000 or $400,000 properties. Some of you will be on $3 million, $5 million. It's just wherever your comfort zone is. Some of you will go towards land. Some of you will go towards self-storage. I get it. Understand, just make sure that you're a generalist. Make sure that you understand the fundamental techniques they apply to all these property types. Okay? If you want to go ahead and get into some advanced strategies on these, that's fine. And we're here to cover all of that too. All right? Now, multifamily, we're talking about garden apartments. Okay? High-rise apartments, mid-rise, low-mid apartments, meaning mid-rise. Also student housing as well. That's very, very powerful. Student housing is out there, especially by universities. Obviously, you want to stay away from any area that's out there that's really, really rough. Also, senior housing facilities, which are super powerful. We're going to talk about that in detail. Industrial, it is what it is, guys. It's warehouse, but there's something that I want to point out. When you're looking for these property types, and this is why it's important that we're going through this, self-storage is actually listed under industrial, so you want to circle self-storage. When you're looking for that, you want to understand, because there's certain websites when we get into finding that you need to know that self-storage is actually listed under the industrial commercial property type. Office, single tenant, mid-rise, office over retail, also medical offices as well. Retail, standing boxes and big box. That just means one big box, guys. That's all that means. Old town centers, strip centers, things of that nature for retail shopping centers. Raw land. Raw land is something that we are going to discuss in detail. I'm going to talk about exactly square footage and acreage versus why we want to turn the use. I'm going to discuss in land in detail on how we're going to get it cash flowing. Okay, it's all about the cash flow system. But raw land, for the most part, comes in a few different zoning. One of the zoning is agricultural. Next is residential. Then commercial. And if we have mixed use, it's going to be a combo of the residential and commercial, which would be the mixed use. And then also golf courses. So many people love golf courses. They say, oh, I want to jump into a golf course. Guys, we don't buy golf courses. Golf courses are not producing a lot of income. Okay, they're just not. Unless you just get some amazing signature golf course, right? And they're going to have one of the big, whatever they call it, their World Cups there. But chances are, guys, you're not going to be jumping in and buying anything like that. The only time that we're going to be looking for golf courses is when they got a lot of land around them. So that what we can do is we can go ahead and get in there and we can build housing development when the housing development's strong in that area. So multi-family, meaning apartments, and people love to live on golf courses. They do. All right. So you want golf courses with land. Write that down next to it. With land is a plus. Now, healthcare, assisted living, skilled nursing, rehab, ambulatory, hospital as well. That's all the healthcare. Can't tell you how many closed up hospitals there are just sitting across the nation ready to be picked up for pennies on the dollar. Thing about it is you just want to make sure that you can put those hospitals to a highest and best use. You don't want to just inherit a headache, especially with hospitals, okay? Because they're going to be these big, huge boxes just sitting there. They're going to take tons of capital to put into the deals to turn them around to their highest and best use. And a lot of times, guys, these big, huge buildings that we got to put a bunch of money into, that's not the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit are the ones, these buildings that are maybe operating, but they're not operating to their fullest potential because they need their rents raised or there's vacancy issues, maybe a little rehab. But these things, we're talking about major retrofitting, and it takes a lot of money to get into these things, okay? Now, there are some additional hot property types, okay? Mobile home parks, I'll tell you right now, again, they're not making any more of them. There is a moratorium on mobile home parks across the nation. They're the least sexy because they're wobbly boxes just sitting there in the path of progress. Think about it. Back in the day, maybe a couple decades ago, they put some mobile home parks and they're way outside of the path of progress. Say that table over there would be the path of progress, and over here they go ahead and they put a mobile home park, maybe 200 acres, and they're wobbly boxes over here. Well, over time it ends up engulfing the path of progress and ends up sucking all around that mobile home park. And I have a deal in the works, and it's actually got a Walgreens across the street from it. It's got a junior college down the other side, another hospital down the other side, shopping centers all around it. Just very, very desirable. And the thing about it is, again, the seller's so fixated on the income, they didn't realize the land value underneath it. And we could just scrape off the wobbly boxes and get the plans approved to go ahead and put it to its highest and best use. And the beauty about getting plans approved, we're going to talk about that in land, is when you're getting plans approved, that's one of the value bumps, but you got income on the land because there's mobile homes on it, okay? Now, again, it's low-end neighborhoods. People worry about tenants not paying the rent. It doesn't matter if they don't pay the rent, guys. You know where they live, right? Right there. All right, and management issues. There's always going to be some management issues when you get into a property, because if a property has great management, then why isn't it at market occupancy? Okay? So I'd say 90% of the time when we're looking at properties and we're not buying with the cap rate, which we're going to define what a cap rate is later, it's just a measuring stick, but when we're buying these properties and we're not fixated on a cap rate and we're looking at these properties, we're not so fixated on what it is right now. We're looking at what it could be. And I just want you to understand that most management companies out there that are operating properties, they really, really aren't fixated on, here's the property, I'm going to make it and put it to its highest and best use. Okay? They're too fixated on what it is, and they're just happy with the money that they're making. Okay? All right, guy Rich.